express itself in this attack. It was the neoconservative belief system, USA, the Zionist belief system, Israel, and the Wahhabists in Saudi Arabia. Why do they do it? They saw an opportunity to enrich themselves at the expense of humanity. So I came up with this little algebra, post-attack wars and everything that's come up with. And I don't know if we have any math geniuses here, but I'm pretty sure you'll be able to figure out this equation cannot balance. So if you look at what happened afterwards, we follow the money, we follow the consequences. We had millions of people killed, remain at a cost of trillions of dollars, borrowed from the unborn, for thousands of war profiteers and crony capitalists who steal billions of dollars for themselves and their friends. Right? This is what happened.
There are freedoms that are taken away.
Exactly. So what brings peace is for us to understand what's happening, for us to be able to understand these events faster, to be able to decipher them, for us to be able to look behind the scenes and try to understand them in a larger context. So I worked on Wall Street for 16 years. I was a derivatives trader at Merrill Lynch and Jefferies, and then I was a salesperson at some different brokerages. My goal when I started, we were interns in '99 when we first came to Manhattan. We started watching the movie Wall Street. We watched it. We had a television on the floor because we didn't have much furniture just as interns, and we just watched that movie. Watching Bud Fox and Gordon Gekko, and that's what we wanted to be a part of. All the smart kids were going to Wall Street at that time, and that's really what I thought I would do for the rest of my life. It was just be in Manhattan, trade, and continue to do that. And it obviously all changed, right? I thought I was such a fantastic trader, and I was a good trader, but it was a big bubble, right? There was a huge bubble on Wall Street. 2002, 2008, I was there for the entire part, and my income dropped like 85% in 2 years between 09 and 11, and that was really a terrible thing to go through. It was not in my model. I wasn't prepared for that type of change. I hadn't seen anything like that happen before, and that's really what got me to examine my beliefs. Because before I had just been on attack, things were better every year. We talked about this quote from Upton Sinclair: "It's difficult to get a man to understand the problems in the process if his compensation is dependent on that process," right? So here's my voting history. Since 2008. Let's just show of hands. So who here did not vote in the last election? That's about 50%. Who voted for Gary Johnson or anyone in 2012? Okay, so fell for one Ball. Okay.
I wrote in wrong.
And who voted for Obama in 2008? Got a few of them. So your basic status to minarchist to anarchist profession, as I figured to fill this information out. So here's the chart that I'm going to share with you guys. I think this is so powerful. I think that most spirituality, most research, everything I've looked at in terms of how consciousness works and how everything's programmed as humans really lines up with this chart. It's really powerful and go through it quickly. So on the positive side, and this is a 9-hour presentation, okay, to get this information. This is dense. It's a Mark Passio, the Natural Law presentation. I highly recommend checking it out. So we start with love. That's consciousness, right? We move from there. This can only go one direction. You can't go on part of the chart and then move to the other side, right? It just follows from love or from fear, which is the opposite ends of the spectrum of consciousness. We go from knowledge to sovereignty, right? We accept the knowledge that we are source beings. Then we move to an internal monarchy, right? So we have one ruler inside of us, okay? Next, the external expression, again following from love, is freedom. That's external anarchy. That's why we're all here, right? To create that. And the manifestation is good, or order. Now, on the government side, on the statism side, we have fear, right? Which is unconsciousness, that leads to ignorance, right? Indoctrination, refusal of truth. Then goes to confusion, which is an internal anarchy, right? Because there's no ruler inside you because you're getting commands from government other places. And that leads to the matrix, it leads to control, right? External monarchy. And the manifestation of that is evil. Anyone recognize this movie? Doctor Strange, good job. So Doctor Strange is my new favorite movie about consciousness and the occult. It's a fascinating movie. I'm going to talk a little bit about it just from the first half an hour of the movie. I wouldn't want to ruin it for you guys that haven't seen it, but really worth checking out. So we have the main character here. Now this character, Doctor Strange, is part of the Marvel Universe, but unlike the rest of the characters, Iron Man, Captain America, and whatnot, Doctor Strange works in consciousness. He works in beliefs. It's super fascinating. And the character really just is exactly like me. I watched the video on my birthday last year, and the first scene of the movie, he's here doing his surgery. Successful neurosurgeon, just top of his game, beautiful apartment, beautiful car. And the song that comes on is a guessing game because he has a photographic memory. And the guessing game is about what month that this song has come out. And of course it was December '77, which is when I was born. So it was just funny, just from the very beginning. I was like, okay, I'm really into this thing. So, just like it happened for any of us, when we build up the external process of our career, or how we see ourselves contributing, it can all change in one instant. And that's what happens to the character. He's careless and has a car accident, and his hands are destroyed. So his whole entire life has now changed because he's a neurosurgeon, so he has to be able to use his hands in order to work and to help people. These scenes here stung me so much because it was literally word for word things that I experienced in my life and in my transition when I moved away from Wall Street, which is what I'm doing now. He's bargaining. He takes 7 different surgeries trying to get his hands to work, and he's just like, hey, a small loan, just 200 grand. Let me just get the money from here and whatnot, and just bargaining and just trying to keep it going and not really looking at what the new thing is that's happening. So the character gets totally fed up, and he asks he's here doing physical therapy, and the man is getting very frustrated because his hands are not coming back. And the man says, all right, answer me this bachelor degree. He's all really kind of arrogant guy. Have you ever seen anyone recover from an injury this serious with this type of nerve damage and actually recover? And he said, yes. One guy, he actually had a broken back, and he was able to, he was coming 3 days a week, and then he stopped coming. I thought he was dead. He walked past me later on the street. The guy said, walk? I said, yeah. I said, all right, I'll find out about this guy. So he finds out about the guy and goes to meet him, finds out that the other person who had been healed with this type of serious, crazy injury had traveled all the way to Nepal to learn completely new things. So I'm just going to read you this one scene here because it's just absolutely fantastic. The language is just amazing. So he arrives to meet the Sorceress Supreme. You've seen her in the beginning of the movie. She's very powerful. The characters are able to pull energy from other dimensions. It's really interesting. So here's the scene. So he arrives finally after he's down to his last dollar. He's completely, this is his last chance to kind of figure this thing out. And so here's the scene. She says, Mr. Strange. And he's like, doctor, actually. And she said, well, no, not anymore. Surely. Isn't that why you're here? You've had many procedures. 7, right? And he says, did you heal a man named Pangborn, a paralyzed man? And she said, in a way. He said, you helped him walk again? Yes. How did you correct a complete C7, C8 injury? I didn't correct it. He couldn't walk. I convinced him that he could. You're not suggesting it's psychosomatic. When you reattach a nerve, who is it that puts it back together? You or the body? She says. He says, it's the cells. She says, and the cells are only programmed to put themselves back together in specific ways. He says, right. said, what if I told you that your body could be convinced to put it back to self, put it back together in all sorts of ways? He's like, all excited. You're talking about cellular regeneration. That's bleeding edge medical tech. Is that why you're working here without a governing medical board? Just how experimental is your treatment? She's like, quite. And so he says, so you have figured out a way to reprogram nerve cells to self-heal? And she says, no, Mr. Strange. I know how to reorient the spirit to better heal the body. He's like, doesn't get it. He's like, the spirit to heal the body? And he says, I spent my last dollar getting here, one-way ticket. And you're talking to me about healing through belief? She says, you're a man looking at the world through a wormhole. You're a man looking at the world through a keyhole. You spent your whole life trying to widen that keyhole, to see more, to know more. Now, upon hearing that it can be widened in ways you can't possibly imagine, you reject the possibility. This is the last part. He says, no, I reject it because I do not believe in fairy tales about chakras or energy or the power of belief. There is no such thing as spirit. We are made of matter and nothing more. You're just a tiny momentary speck within an indifferent universe. She says, you think too little of yourself. He says, you think you see through me? Do you? Well, you don't, but I see through you. He touches her, and then she goes, and then she goes, boom, and she knocks his astral self out of his physical body. And I was just like, I love this movie. So it goes on from there. I highly recommend it. It's just really amazing to see these themes, in a mainstream movie like this. All right, so next we're going to move to physical fitness. So guys, one thing I've noticed I moved to the Netherlands 9 months ago, and it's amazing because in the Netherlands, the primary people living there are first world melanin deficient folks, right? And the people in the US are first world melanin deficient. I see a couple quick faces. You guys know what melanin is, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm melanin enhanced, you guys are melanin.
Right.
Anyway, so the reality is, it's 44% of people here are obese, okay, in the US. It's 11% in the Netherlands. How can that be the case? It's deliberate, right? It's the systems, it's everything. In the Netherlands, they have decentralized food production, decentralized energy. Everything's different. So we have to take this personal responsibility for our bodies and for our own physical health, for our strength, for our flexibility. All these things are so important, and this brings peace. That's me playing football 18 years ago for Rice. I just came out of retirement and just joined a team in Amsterdam, so I'm playing on the first team and the best team in the Netherlands. I'm just coming back because I've made this thing. We beat Belgium last weekend, we beat Brussels. I had tackles, it was awesome. And when you make good decisions about your health and wellness, then you have opportunities, no matter how old you get. And that's my age now. My number was 39, and I got the same number, and I'm 39 years old now. So, love precious humanity. I've done all kinds of personal development. Again, from about 2006 on, I've been to Tony Robbins for Unleash the Power Within. I walked on fire last year. I've been to Abraham Hicks, Rebecca Tolley. Pretty much you name it, I've been a student of it. But the Avatar course is really what moved the needle for me, and that's what I teach part-time, and that's what I keep going back. So, who knows what are the 3 questions an animal can answer? Who knows one of them? Any animal. What are the 3 questions an animal can answer?
Are you hungry?
Can I eat it is number 1.
Sleep.
Number 3 is can I mate with it?
Dangerous.
Number 2 is can it eat me? Good job. Smart group. So, that's animal consciousness. This is a quote from Harry Palmer, who wrote the Avatar course. Order is established in animal consciousness by dominance. Order is established in intellectual consciousness by argument or debate. Order is established in spiritual consciousness by respect. All right? So, according to the author, about 50% of humanity operates at the level of animal consciousness on a consistent basis. All right? Here's an example of, this is from one of his thoughts, animal consciousness fear commercial. It tastes good, it won't hurt you, it makes you look sexy. Right? So, the powers that should be know this information, and they're going to put it out there to get the dollars and cents for them. Now, about 40% of humanity or so operates at the level of intellectual consciousness. Intellectual consciousness is ego, competition, or rationalization. That's all the intellectual consciousness. The spiritual consciousness, which we need to get more people hooked up there, that's benevolence, empathy, compassion, and all the top ways of being. Maybe only 5 to 10% of people operate at that level on a consistent basis. And I think this is one of the most important things on how we actually create voluntary society, because just like Mark Rose said last night, if you want to be free and you're on a plantation of slaves, there's not really a path for you. You have to get more people that are interested in moving this forward. So the mission of the course, again, recognition of what brings peace, very in line with that. The mission of Avatar in the world is to catalyze the integration of belief systems. When we perceive that the only difference between us is our beliefs, and that beliefs can be created or discreated with ease, the right and wrong game will ride down, the co-create game will unfold, and world peace will ensue. So this is a course that I was at last year. I would say that what Anarchapulco is for economic and political awareness, that Avatar is for spiritual awareness. It's a 9-day course where you're guided through a series of experiential exercises that you can take with you and use in your life to raise your vibration, take care of any problem, all right? This is one of my students. She's a good friend who I've known for a long time. She wrote a nice little blurb, which I'll share. She said, Adam, thank you for your guidance and friendship. This past week at Avatar was absolutely wonderful. The tools I learned have allowed me to finally say and honestly believe that I'm very clear about where I'm headed on my terms, including where I will continue to contribute to others. I'm grateful for our new connection. So, she took the course because she had been a lawyer for a long time and didn't want to do that anymore and was stuck. She didn't know where to go or how to transition to something different. And so she came to the course and used the tools to create an amazing new career doing something completely different. Fantastic quote here. The best way to remove suffering from your own life is to act with the intention to reduce the suffering of other sentient creatures. Just like in Doctor Strange, where he's going to use his powers to ends up doing some great things. I'll let you guys watch the movie. But it's just so helpful. Whenever we put our attention out on others, it takes away the thoughts about our own stuff, right? So when we're in service to others, that's always a way to remove suffering from your own life. That's my master on the far left, and another one of my students. I'm going to read you guys quickly just a little bit about what it is, in case you're interested. So what is Avatar? Avatar is the most powerful, purest self-development program available. It's a series of experiential exercises that enable you to rediscover yourself and align your consciousness with what you want to achieve. You will experience your own unique insights and revelations. No one will tell you what to believe or who you are. It's you finding out about you. So, for all of us here in this room, we're all focused on creating a new reality, a new economy, for internal economy for ourselves and in the world. But just because you know that government is immoral, does that mean that you have healthy relationships? Yes or no? No. Does that mean, just because you know that government is immoral, does it mean that you have alignment, with your family? There's so many different, aspects of reality to have under control. Some questions. Would you like to be free of old restraints that make you unhappy? Would you like to align your beliefs with the goals you want to accomplish? Would you like to feel more secure about your ability to conduct your own life? Would you like to experience a higher, wiser, more peaceful expression of self? Would you like to be able to rise above the sorrows and struggles of the world and see them for what they really are? And would you like to experience a state of consciousness traditionally described as enlightenment? avatars for you. So I'm going to close with the compassion exercise. Here we go. All right, so I have some cards here. If you guys want one, this is what the compassion cards look like. I got 10. Perfect, great. Okay, so I'm going to guide you through this. Can you guys see this? A little bit? Okay, I'm going to guide you. So here's the instructions. This is the purpose of this exercise is to increase the amount of compassion in the world. This exercise can be done anywhere that people congregate. Airports, malls, parks, beaches, etc. It should be done on strangers, unobtrusively, from some distance. Try to do all 5 steps in the same person. Expected results are a personal sense of peace. All right? Now, on the bottom variations, may be done by couples and family members to increase understanding of each other. May be done on old enemies and antagonists who are present in their memories, and may be done on other life forms. So I invite you to do the exercise with me. Just decide which person in your life that you want to extend compassion to. So everyone just decide in your mind if they're a male or woman and who they are. You can do the exercise eyes closed or open. You can talk or just do it inside. You guys ready?
Yep.
All right, great. Step 1. With attention on the person, repeat to yourself, just like me, this person is seeking some happiness for his or her life. Step 2. With attention on the person, repeat to yourself, just like me, this person is trying to avoid suffering in his or her life. Step 3. With attention on the person, repeat to yourself, just like me, this person has known sadness, loneliness, and despair. Step 4. With attention on the person, repeat to yourself, just like me, this person is seeking to fulfill his or her needs. Step 5. With attention on the person, repeat to yourself, just like me, this person is learning about life. So it's a great exercise that you can always use. Just come back to it.
Great.
All right. Anyone got any?
Is Avatar available in Australia, or is it just?
Yeah, it's available all over the world. There's courses in Mexico, in the U.S. I started going in 2012. I met my master in the same building where they're actually having a course. She just walked up to me and started chatting. They were having a course actually in the same building. I was in a hotel, and in the top level of the hotel was office space. So my this training company was there. So they have literally Australia, New Zealand, all over the world.
Just another question if I can.
Go ahead, please.
You said I walked in a bit late and I heard you talking about 9/11.
Yeah.
Can you just elaborate a bit more about what you saw?
Yeah, sure, man. Yeah, no problem. Sorry, I was going to jump over the I feel like it's like I just remember one day on the ESPN, when they're training the guys, they have the teleprompter come cut off, and they have to. I always prepare for that. So 9/11, man, it was just crazy, right? I mean, being there so close, I saw people jumping out of the building. And I was literally could not be closer. I was in the Twin Towers about 2 hours before the building was attacked, because I always walked through that building on the way to work. And yeah, man, just seeing the reactions, the change in New York, the change in people, over those next couple months was just so palpable. Everyone's illusion of security was shattered, and the government came in with a convenient explanation, for what happened. I think that the most memorable thing of the entire experience is just the fear, that was generated by the event, and that's why governments, will continue to use false flag terror, and with what's happening now with Trump and this Trump versus the CIA thing, which is certainly interesting. People have all different viewpoints about Trump, but I wouldn't be surprised if something else like that didn't happen again soon. Thanks.
Hold on.
Oh, sure.
I have a question about your opinion again. You were talking about Mark Cassio,
Yeah.
natural law, and I just wanted to get your opinion on how you can integrate natural law into your life, as well as the non-aggression principle with just Mark Cassio's work. I really like that. I really appreciate you were talking about
Cool, man. Yeah,
Mark
that's a
Cassio.
question.
I really like it.
I mean, that's a little bit of why I moved to the Netherlands last year. Thank you. I had a number of different things kind of dissolve at the same time after a lot of successes and different failures. And instead of just staying in the Northeast, where I had been for 16 years, which was fantastic for a while, and then awful for post bubble. It's like I'm not a tree. I can kill somewhere else. So the thing that mattered for me most was personal freedom. And so I moved to a place where I got more personal freedom, and I have an ability to do more things without worry of incarceration than I do here. So any step that you do to just give yourself more freedom, more alignment with your own integrity, puts you more in line with natural law.
Adam, a great example of grace getting through that technical difficulty. Can you explain this, kind of elaborate more, right? Can you explain this more, elaborate how in your own mind increased inner awareness and outward compassion contributes to anarchy?
Totally goes right with it. Anarchy is a massive thing, right? It's how we interact with each other. It's how we design systems. It's everything, right? It's all aspects of nonviolent interaction. So when we are operating from a higher level of consciousness, more towards love versus fear, then we're going to be less reactive. We're going to be more open to seeing things as it is instead of with a filter, and just